I had been suspicious for weeks, but I never thought I'd actually catch her in the act. My wife Sarah had been acting strange, always finding excuses to leave the house and receiving mysterious texts. I tried to brush it off as paranoia, but the doubt lingered. One evening I came home from work early, hoping to surprise Sarah. Instead I was the one who got the surprise. As I entered our bedroom, I saw Sarah fucking our neighbor John. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. I couldn't breathe. I watched in horror as they continued, oblivious to my presence. I felt my world crumbling around me. How could she do this to me, to us? I thought about our wedding day, our children, our life together. It all seemed like a lie now. I turned and left, unable to bear the sight. I didn't know what to do or where to go. I felt lost and alone. I drove around for hours, trying to process what I had just seen. The next day I confronted Sarah. She broke down, confessing everything. She said she was sorry, that she loved me, but she needed something more. She felt neglected and unfulfilled in our marriage. I was devastated. I didn't know if I could ever trust her again, but as we talked, I realized that our marriage had been struggling for a long time. We'd grown apart, and I'd neglected her needs. We started therapy, working through our issues and rebuilding our relationship. It wasn't easy, but we were committed to making it work. We learned to communicate effectively, to appreciate each other, and to trust each other again. It took time, but our marriage began to heal. We learned to forgive and move forward. I realized that our love was stronger than infidelity. We worked through our issues, rebuilding our relationship. It wasn't easy. There were times when I thought it was all over, but we kept pushing forward. Sarah was committed to regaining my trust. She was transparent about her actions, and I could see the effort she was putting in. I still had my doubts, but I wanted to believe her. I wanted to believe that our love was stronger than her infidelity. We started going on dates again. Just the two of us, trying to recapture what we had lost. It felt awkward at first, but slowly, we started to reconnect. We laughed together, held hands, and looked into each other's eyes. It felt like we were falling in love all over again, but this time, it was different. This time, we knew what we had, and we were determined to never let it go. We talked about our future, about growing old together, about traveling, and exploring new places. We made plans, and promises, and I started to believe that we could make it through anything, as long as we had each other. As we talked about our future, I couldn't help but think about the past, about what had led us to this point. I thought about the signs I had ignored, the red flags I had dismissed. I thought about the times I had felt neglected, and unappreciated. I thought about the times I had felt like I was walking on eggshells, never knowing when Sarah would blow up again. But as I looked into her eyes, I saw something different. I saw a woman who was truly sorry, a woman who was willing to do whatever it took to make things right. I saw a woman who loved me, flaws and all. And I knew that I loved her too, flaws and all. We were both broken, but together, we could be whole, we could be strong, we could be unbreakable. And so we kept moving forward, one step at a time, one day at a time, one moment at a time. We kept moving forward, towards a future that was uncertain, but full of hope. We kept moving forward, and with each step, our love grew stronger. We learned to communicate effectively, to listen to each other, to understand each other's needs. We learned to forgive, to let go of the past, and to embrace the present. We learned to appreciate each other, to cherish each other, to love each other without condition. And as we did, our relationship began to flourish. It was like a garden that had been neglected, but was now being tended to. It was growing, it was blooming, it was beautiful, and I knew that I had made the right decision. I knew that I had fought for the right thing. I knew that our love was worth it, and as I looked into Sarah's eyes, I knew that she knew it too. We were in this together, we were a team, we were unstoppable, and nothing could ever break us again. As the days turned into weeks, and the weeks turned into months, our love continued to grow. It was like a flame that had been flickering, but was now burning bright. We were inseparable. We were each other's rock, each other's safe haven. We were each other's home, and I knew that I had found my soulmate. I knew that I had found the one person who truly understood me, truly loved me, truly accepted me for who I was, and I knew that I would never let her go. I knew that I would never give up on us, on our love, on our relationship. We had been through too much, we had fought too hard, we had come too far, and as I looked into Sarah's eyes, I knew that she felt the same way. We were in this together, forever and always. And nothing could ever change that. As our relationship continued to flourish, we started to rebuild our life together, we started to create new memories, new traditions, and new experiences, we started to explore new places, try new things, and laugh together like we used to. Our love had been tested, and it had come out stronger on the other side. We had been through the fire, and we had emerged unscathed. Our bond was unbreakable, our love was unshakable, and we knew that we could face anything as long as we had each other. We were no longer the same people we had been before. We had grown, we had learned, and we had evolved. We had become better versions of ourselves, and our love had become the foundation on which we stood. It was the rock that held us together, the safe haven where we could always find peace, and the guiding light that showed us the way forward. And as we looked into each other's eyes, we knew that we would always be there for each other, no matter what. Years went by, and our love continued to grow. We built a life together, a life filled with love, laughter, and adventure. We traveled the world, explored new cultures, and experienced new things. We built a home, started a family, and created a life that was truly our own. Our love was the foundation on which we stood, the glue that held us together, and the safe haven where we could always find peace. We had our ups and downs, like any couple, but our love was always the constant, the one thing that we could always count on. And as we grew old together, we knew that our love would only continue to grow stronger. We would always be there for each other, through thick and thin, through good times and bad. And we knew that our love would last a lifetime, and beyond. We were soulmates, meant to be together, and nothing could ever break that bond. As we sat on our porch, holding hands, and watching the sunset, I turned to Sarah and said, "You know, I never thought I'd find love again after what happened, but here we are, and I couldn't be more grateful." Sarah smiled, squeezed my hand, and replied, "I know exactly what you mean. I thought I'd never find someone who could truly understand me, but you do, and I love you for it." We sat there in silence for a moment, taking in the beauty of the world around us, and the love that we shared. And then I said, "You know what they say, true love can conquer all." And I believe it. Sarah nodded, and we shared a kiss, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm orange glow over our little slice of heaven. And I knew that our love would last forever. Through every up and down, every triumph and every struggle, our love would be the constant that held us together, and I was grateful for that. As the years went by, our love continued to be the guiding force in our lives. We grew old together, but our love never faltered. We became each other's rock, each other's safe haven, and each other's soulmate. We had lived a full life, with ups and downs, triumphs and struggles, but through it all, our love had been the constant that held us together. And as we sat on our porch, holding hands, and watching the sunset, I knew that I had found my true love, my partner, my best friend, and my soulmate. Sarah was the missing piece I never knew I needed, and I was grateful for every moment we had shared, every laugh, every tear, every triumph, and every struggle, because it had all led us to this moment, this perfect moment, where we could sit together, in peace, and know that our love would last forever. And as the sun dipped below the horizon, I turned to Sarah, and said, "I love you," and she replied, "I love you too," and I knew that our love would be eternal. And so, our story came full circle, a story of love, loss, and redemption, a story of two souls who found each other in the darkest of times, and held on to each other through every up and down, every triumph and every struggle. Our love had been tested, and it had come out stronger on the other side. We had found our happily ever after, and we knew that nothing could ever break us apart again. We were home, we were safe, and we were loved. And as we sat on our porch, watching the stars twinkle to life in the night sky, I knew that our love would shine bright for all eternity. A beacon of hope, reminder that true love can conquer all, and that two souls who are meant to be together, will always find their way back to each other, no matter what. And I smiled, knowing that our love story would live on forever. And so, our love story became a legend, a tale of true devotion, a reminder to all who heard it that love can conquer even the darkest of times. We lived out our days in happiness and contentment, surrounded by the beauty of nature, and the love that we shared. Our bond grew stronger with each passing day, and we knew that nothing could ever break us apart again. We were soulmates, meant to be together, and we were grateful for every moment we had shared. Our love had been tested, and it had come out stronger on the other side. We had found our happily ever after, and we knew that our love would shine bright for all eternity. And as we took our last breaths, hand in hand, we knew that our love would live on forever, a beacon of hope, a reminder that true love can conquer all.